Wow, these effects already look way better than the previous live-action Avatar, is what I would probably say if it was light enough for me to actually see them.
Get that to the Earth King. They're going to start a war.
And after they've started their war, Square Enix will probably start one with you as well for stealing their chocobos.
We aren't the real target.
This seems like something a character would realize internally rather than say out loud, but the scriptwriters thought audiences would be too stupid to understand the Fire Nation's true target, so they had him say it anyway. And then I send it.
For millennia, the four nations have lived in harmony. A peace made possible by the Avatar, the one person with the ability to master all four elements.
Changing the original narration. There's no need to try and make it more grand or artsy. This is like each new Spider-Man movie trying to add their own spin on with great power comes great responsibility. The words are already perfect. Leave them be. Find other places to set your adaptation apart.
And so, Fire Lord Sozin, the ruthless leader of the Fire Nation, believes this is his moment to launch a merciless campaign to conquer the world.
You just did a decent job of showing us all of this. You don't have to also do the telling now.
An Airbender who may not be ready for the responsibility of becoming the Avatar.
You're still doing it. You just told me the main theme of the entire episode. That's it. Your narration privileges have been revoked. This B looks like an S to me, so it looks like the last Airsender. This is why fonts matter, people. Oh, neat. I wonder what Wong and Madison are watching today. The f***? How is Aang flying without his glider? The last Airbender I saw do that had to watch his girlfriend's head combust before he unlocked that ability.
There may come a day when you wish you'd spent more time with your teachers.
Followed by a pause so pregnant it was supposed to have triplets a week ago.
How many are coming?
Wow, the arrival of those nomads answered Aang's question right after he asked it. It's so cool that they mastered the elements of air and dramatic timing.
I never asked to be special.
Disney princess, a little harder, why don't you?
I don't want the power.
Which is why you will make a great Avatar.
This is also getting a little too season 8 Jon Snow for my taste. Does this season end with Aang snapping for no reason and burning the North Pole to the ground? Because we've now already got Aang saying, I don't want it.
I'm scared of my power. I'm scared of being alone.
Long monologues where your main character explains his exact mental state to a hybrid nightmare animal.
Scared.
He's scared, y'all. Do you get it? What would I have done if he hadn't told me? Taken cues from his acting? Inferred information from the scene? How the hell could I manage that? What the f***? Are all firebenders Johnny Storm in this series? Did they forget to yell flame on before flying up into the sky?
Brothers and sisters, we're under attack!
This is why you need a horn or a really big drum. No chance this guy is waking me up. I am burning alive in bed. The way this firebender in the background burns leaves me questioning their armor. In a military unit where fire is thrown this way and that, wouldn't you want to fireproof your clothing? Yet this dude burns like a bonfire at a Yankee Candle store. Seems like a design flaw to me. Oh boy, dark footage and shaky cam, my favorites. I love not being able to see what's going on. You know the great thing about animation? You don't have to darken the screen to cover your terrible special effects.
That's it. Stay quiet. Right into the corner.
Stuffing children in a corner isn't an escape plan. It just makes things more efficient for the attackers. Have they not seen Revenge of the Sith? Why must the younglings always die? Oh, look, flying directly at sea level wasn't such a great idea. I made a large bubble like that in the bath once without even moving my hands. Am I a waterbender? Why are you screaming? My local water park's lazy river is scarier than this. Gotta admit, didn't expect you to work a sky beam into your Avatar adaptation, Netflix. I'm almost impressed. You joined the excellent company of other projects like Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles movie and the first Suicide Squad. Well done.
Sometimes light beams are nothing more than celestial glimmers in the winter sky.
And other times they're a portal for Chitauri to fly through and attack New York City. It's a 50-50 coin toss, really. You can't be too careful, Iroh.
My father has banished me until I find the Avatar, and that's exactly what I'll do.
Right there, in less than 10 seconds, I've learned everything I needed to learn about Zuko. It didn't take some ham-fisted narration or a repetitive 3-minute monologue. And I'm sending the fact that you knew this and did the other things anyway. That is a terrible painting. Aang isn't shivering nearly enough as he steps outside. I know he's been in an iceberg for 100 years, but that boy went from a bed of furs to Antarctic air with nothing but monk robes. He should be sneezing and running his ass back inside looking for a hot bowl of badger mole soup.
How did I get here?
You tell me.
You want the boy who was previously unconscious and frozen in ice to tell you how he got to your village? Were you not the one who carried him here?
Sky Bison. Sky Bison.
Repeating it doesn't help.
Sokka would be the chief at CinemaSins.
Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony.
Previously on a cartoon that told this story much better.
He is the last Airbender.
Roll airmercials.
No one comes here. It's quiet and hidden.
Except that's not true because you apparently come there all the time. I think you meant no one else comes here. And it's not hidden because we could clearly see the ship from where you were standing outside of the village. Do words mean nothing in this world?
By feeling the energy around you, you can find balance. By finding balance, you can feel the energy.
Instructions unclear, accidentally summoned a demon.
I wasn't even really trying.
Thing the writers for the show said right after production wrap somehow makes it into the episode.
You are the Avatar.
It really is a shame the writers left Casey Camp Hornick with nothing better to do than recite the original opening text and say obvious things like this. She really is a great actor. Go watch her in Reservation Dogs. With better writing, she'd have made a phenomenal Gran. So here's a sin for such poor use of indigenous talent.
When the world needed the Avatar the most, he vanished. Because he's a coward.
So? He's 12. Maybe cut him some slack. Also, he didn't vanish because he's a coward. He vanished because he thought Appa was an amphibious exploring vehicle.
We merely seek someone who does not belong here.
Could you be more specific? This is about as useful as Mal asking which henchman tracked him and Zoe answering, the ugly one, sir.
Sokka, don't you see he's the Avatar?
And he lied to us about it.
No, he didn't. You never once asked him if he was the Avatar. Even when Gran said he was it, he didn't deny it.
That's what the Avatar is. He's hope. And we need that just as much as we need food and shelter.
Thinking you can eat hope. Running in terror toward the people you're trying to protect.
No one has ever fought for me before.
I mean, except for Monkeyatso. F*** him, am I right?
I think you're the bravest person I've ever met.
Doing your bravery rankings without properly considering all of the monks who died in a desperate struggle to protect their home.
You're in charge.
Repeating the cycle of trauma that was forced upon you as a teenager by immediately putting a younger teen in charge as you leave the village. Like father, like son.
But peace comes from respecting life, not killing and destroying.
Don't forget treaties, ceasefires, armistices, and other things that only barely work, but we're desperate for because the alternatives are so much worse. Did the guard just have those keys resting gently on his belt? Hey, what was that sound? Sounded a lot like keys. Never mind. Must have been the wind. I shall stop caring now.
There's no way you're getting me on that.
Character says there's no way something will happen, only to immediately cut to that very thing happening cliché. So, Appa can fly higher than sea level. Interesting. Yes, I'm still mad about it. Zuko has finally caught the Avatar, this great warrior, and he leaves him completely unguarded. I mean, who says a cell could even hold him, but you just stick him there and knock off for drinks?
The Avatars.
Putting a notebook with valuable information inside your clothing. Do you know what swamp ass does to a book, Aang? Let's just say I have an issue of Detective Comics that'll never be readable again. Good to know this version of Aang got a specialty degree in flying techniques from the Prometheus School of Running Away from Things. I'm not even going to bother complaining about the timing because how did no one see them coming? It's a giant flying bison and it comes out of nowhere? These fireballs are so slow they couldn't even hit Mario. Also, I know they're trying to build tension, but Zuko looks like he's thinking about a burrito he's microwaving. Yeah, I'd be surprised too if in one day I went from being able to lift a small sphere of water to being able to lift a geyser from hundreds of feet below me to block a fireball. I'd be so surprised I may even be tempted to call it bullshit.
You're strong and kind and generous.
All things we've still seen zero evidence of in this hour of television.
I can't imagine a better person to have been given this power.
The very first thing he did after learning he had the power was to fly his bison into a storm and nearly die, leaving the Air Nation defenseless against a Fire Nation attack. If Aang had remained at the temple and activated his avatar state, they'd probably still be alive, so your imagination needs work, Yatso.
They made the ultimate sacrifice. For me.
Actually, they didn't sacrifice for you. They died because of you. There is a difference.
It's only after we've lost something that we realize how much it means to us.
Ending the first episode of your beloved fantasy epic as if it's an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
He ran! The ultimate warrior! He's a coward!
Making your protagonist's primary vibe, sniveling whiny brat that wants to beat up on preteens. Taking out your anger on your own stuff instead of someone else's. Show doesn't know how to rage efficiently.
According to this, Avatar Kyoshi was the fiercest of warriors.
Making the insanely cool idea of controlling elemental power seem as boring as third period history class. Katara looks like she's about to fall asleep. You know, for all the hardship these three seem to get into, their clothes never seem to suffer a stain. There's no way that after 3 years anything in the tribe looks this new. Unless Gran is secretly running a sweatshop.
Before I met him, I couldn't bend enough water to fill a thimble. And now look what I can do. And that's after a single day.
Bringing your plot-boosted bullshit abilities back up when we had just forgotten about them. Traveling with this much bread and no peanut butter or jelly.
What is that?
A winged lemur!
Traveling with these many interesting creatures around and no Pokeballs. This note from Gran looks to be written in Inuktitut, an Inuit language, while Zuko's journal looks to be written in traditional Chinese, like they did in the cartoon. I'd remove a sin for this piece of world building, except we only ever hear English spoken, so I'm just wondering why I can't read it.
Hey, you ready to leave?
There's something I have to do first.
I better be picking a crap ton of those peaches because their current diet of bread sandwiches has constipation written all over it. Momo looks directly at the camera here. Freaking Momo.
My whole life, you were there for me, and I wasn't there for you. Goodbye, Gyatso. I'm sorry.
Never has an almost cry looked more like they just loaded up the actor's eyes with some drops. Looks like Aang needs to master some watir bending. There's no way they moved Gyatso's body outside for burial after decomposing for 100 years. I want to see that scene where they pick up the skeleton and it crumbles into Jeffrey Dahmer's jigsaw puzzle. But also, with each bending nation being centered around their particular bending style, I feel like funeral practices would follow suit. The Earth Kingdom would bury or entomb, the Fire Nation would practice cremation, the Water Tribes would have Viking-esque burials at sea, and the Air Nomads would yeet the corpses off a cliff. I like how instead of any actual elements in their title sequence, they just have these streaks of gold paint. Really hammers home the themes of the show. Having 40 years of innovation and technological advancements and still having your flying scene not look any more realistic than Bastion riding Falcor at the end of the never-ending story.
Bet you taste like chicken.
Animals in this world always seem to be chimeras, so why is he saying that Momo would taste like just chicken? He should say something like, I bet you taste like turducken.
What are we doing here, Uncle?
Waiting until your uncle is hitting on the food merchants before asking this question.
One thing you must learn is how to get what you want without divulging your true intentions.
Tinder.
There she is. Giant scary lady.
Adjectifying your ladies.
Check this out.
Entering a giant scary lady's door without explicit consent.
You are trespassing on sacred ground.
But we won't inform you of that until after we kick your ass, because this episode hasn't had an action scene yet and the audience might be losing interest.
For 100 years, Kyoshi Island has remained safe from the ravages of war by keeping to ourselves.
The Swiss.
What harm is there in letting him look through some books?
The Evil Dead franchise has entered the chat.
I'm reminded that Kyoshi herself often benefited from the kindness of strangers. So we will open our village to our guests.
Why are these two dudes sitting at the leader lady's table if they aren't people she consults before making decisions? Are they just there to sit quiet and look pretty? I'm so tired of the matriarchy relegating men to token positions.
And it is now my honor to protect this community and to uphold the values of the Avatar.
Taking honor when your protective commitment will run its course in less than 48 hours. Hiring actors just so I'll try to figure out what I saw them in. I know he's a person of interest in the film and television industry, but honestly, I'm just lost. Suki, how's the peeping? How's the peeping, Suki? Suki.
Someone needs to put a bell on you.
Wanting to put a bell on someone because you have the awareness of a jellyfish. The female gaze. This is exactly why CG with real life doesn't work. None of the other water is affected by what Katara is doing, so the waves from her waterbending look fake as shit. Also, water penis.
We'll do this together. We're not going anywhere.
The cranky lady's 48-hour time limit and team of assassins may disagree. This is way too much food for 3 people plus a flying monkey, and I know something's going to pull them away before they're done eating anyway.
Are you really an airbender?
A simple yes would have sufficed.
Gotta admit, he has a way with people. He knows how to connect.
Yeah, a kid playing tag with other kids. Such a deep and meaningful connection. The fate of the world is in good hands.
That's his real power. Connection. Building bridges. That's how he's going to be the Avatar.
Okay, that's a pretty great callback to my favorite part in the original opening sequence. Fine, I'll bend a sin off. Choking someone without explicitly defining a safe word first. Training with wind powers on the edge of a cliff.
According to this, all the previous Avatars are incarnations of your past lives. You are literally not alone. The other avatars are inside you.
If I sell my old house and get a new one, I'm the same person, just in a new house. If the avatars are Aang in his past lives, that means that the avatars aren't inside him. They are him, and he is, in fact, alone. But also, Aang will talk to his previous incarnations in his mind, and they'll all have distinct personalities and memories. So the avatar is either a psychic medium haunted by the ghosts of the previous avatars, or has dissociative identity disorder. Discuss.
The answers aren't inside here. They're inside you.
Chow, he heard something about a flying cow near Kyoshi Island, so he set sail at dawn.
Random food vendors that somehow show up at the exact moment they're needed and conveniently have all the information you need are random. Having a great training scene, but turning it into a falling for each other while dancing cliche.
But it's almost worse now that I know he's close, because now the chance to go home is real.
Sometimes hope can be a cruel thing.
Iroh isn't my therapist in this scene. Calling bullshit on Suki wiping off that makeup with just water in 5 seconds. The mask isn't coming off that fast without taking half her face with it.
What matters is not the power inside, it's the will and desire.
So the power inside doesn't matter, just will and desire, which are powers located outside?
I've always wondered what the world outside was like, but I never had the courage to leave. I've always wondered what I'd find. Now I know.
Meeting one average man and deciding you have discovered the world.
Knowledge of your opponent, knowing where he might go, is more important than speed. And so, where there is one avatar, there may be another.
This nonsensical way of saying, I read the script and know where to go. Just because Zhao has a speaking role doesn't mean he can't wear a helmet. He's the freaking commander. I guess I won't be needing this anymore.
You asked me what it means to be the Avatar. It means being a warrior.
A mighty, merciless warrior.
He just said he would have to figure that out for himself. You're sending him mixed messages, and now you're going to have him monologuing to himself for another 20 minutes. Thanks a lot. This works. They run away, and Zhao doesn't throw fire at their backs. This version of Zhao doesn't know how to villain correctly. Taking a shortcut to character development through Traumata Flashback exposition. Katara somehow arrives in the village at the same time as Kyoshi, despite not using fire jets. The Avatar only now revealing that they can waterbend, firebend, earthbend, airbend, and gender bend.
Listen, I wish we had more time.
You don't. Skip. Cats will always bond with the one person who doesn't want them around.
To your supreme eminence, the great flame of the world.
Inventing brown shouldering because you've got your head so far up the Fire Lord's ass that you passed brown nosing a good 6 inches ago. Holy crap, how hot is that throne room? And where does all the smoke go? And who refills the fuel? And why is Gamora?
We don't have the numbers. We don't need numbers.
People who hate on math. Also, math. The small rebel group is invading the Fire Lord's throne room, and none of them even think to wear armor. They don't even bring a fire blanket.
Azula.
Azula is the crown princess of the Fire Nation, and yet none of these Fire Nation-fearing people knew or recognized who she was. She isn't even wearing Clark Kent glasses, for goodness sake. Her hair was just in a messy bun.
You may have stopped us tonight, Osai, but there is one out there who cannot be stopped. The one who will restore balance to the world.
Star Wars The Matrix the Bible ripoff says what?
Tap into your feelings and gather energy from them.
He said, tap into your feelings, not relive your trauma.
All the more reason for us to get to the Northern Water Tribe, right?
That's right. We've got the best waterbending masters in the world.
They've actually got the only waterbending masters in the world. Momo looks directly at the camera twice. Never work with kids, animals, or CG animals acting like kids.
I liked her too.
Yeah, she was cool.
Of course, I have no idea what she saw in you.
Hey, what's not to like?
Katara doesn't spend the next hour listing off everything she can think of, proving that Katara doesn't know how to sister correctly.
I think it's another Airbender.
If you're watching this show on a 52-inch TV and pause this frame, you might be able to see the person Aang is trying to point out. As it is, I don't know how Aang is able to see them with his bare eyeballs unless he's airbending light to make them appear closer than they are.
He may be the Avatar, but he still needs to eat and drink.
Not to mention potty breaks, which reminds me, it ruins my day when a bird poops on me. I don't think I want to live in a world with flying bison.
They don't take kindly to outsiders in Amashu.
We're new here. but we have a friend we need to see. We just could use a little help getting inside.
Help a cute girl, possible death. Help a cute girl, possible death. Help a cute girl. Apparently the power of boners is stronger than the threat of impending death.
Headed to market, as usual. Oh, wasn't a great crop this month.
Sokka's extremely unimpressive turnip disguise and the fact that these guards never question it. Not looking where you're driving. And don't give me crap about the bird being alive and would avoid walking into people. A horse that's trained to move on command will follow those commands up to and including trampling a fool.
There he is! Look!
This is the second time Aang's pointed out this guy, and the second time I've had to rewind and squint to find it. You'd think something as important as the whole reason they came to Amashu would be easier for the audience to see in a television show. You know, a visual medium.
Tail! Tail!
Concerned father runs to his potentially injured son, but stops short of actually seeing if he's okay.
What were you doing out there?
I just landed. How was I supposed to know there'd be another bombing?
Bombing? You mean that wasn't an accident?
Nothing the Fire Nation does is an accident.
The Fire Nation?
Are we just going to question everything these two say?
Yeah. Their spies are everywhere in the city.
In the city? Everywhere? Spies? Yeah?
Air power is their weakness.
This is false. Water is the opposite of fire. Air can actually help a fire grow stronger and wilder, and as the Mechanist son, you should absolutely know this.
This place used to be incredible.
Being upset that the city getting actively bombed isn't nicer. We've got an arrow shot into paper. We've got no arrow shot into paper.
He spent 3 years on an ocean cruise.
Azula was hoping the last voyage of Zuko and his ship of fools would involve the perfect storm in the heart of the sea, but instead of a boat trip where all is lost, Zuko proved to be both a master and commander as he accomplished the titanic task of finding the Avatar. Watership down. Katara is incredibly dry for someone who just splashed herself with water. Never work with kids, animals, or CG water that doesn't understand physics. Let me just look around, make sure the coast is clear. Whew, looks like no one else is around. So glad that clothesline is there to keep me extra hidden. Dressed all in red and openly firebends in public, I'm beginning to see why the Fire Nation spies are struggling to conquer Amashu. I can buy Aang staying aloft because he can literally control air currents, but there is no way those tiny-ass wings are going to generate enough lift to keep Teo in his chair from hitting the ground at terminal velocity.
Big talk for someone who's outnumbered.
As far as Jet knows, Katara is an unarmed non-bender, and he just included her in a fight with a guy who can shoot fire from his hands. Wait, what? He can cut fire with a sword? How in the hell have the Fire Nation gotten so far with such a clear weakness? Who needs airbending when you can sword bend? These two run forward like they're gonna attack with fists, but then we see them throwing fireballs. It's like the henchmen in action movies that forget they're holding guns and attack the protagonist with punches and kicks. I would remove a sin for these henchmen remembering that they can throw fire, but how did you forget that in the first place? Bad guys who have been relentlessly attacking up to this point surround the protagonists and wait for reasons. Soul Patch is hit in the shoulder and gets knocked out cold. They just don't make henchmen like they used to.
Where's he taking him?
Don't worry. Pipsqueak knows how to take out the garbage.
So Pipsqueak is taking care of all three bodies by himself? Jet and the others are a dick to Pipsqueak. Discount Sherwood Forest, populated by discount... I had something for this. Lost Boys?
I still don't understand what firebenders are doing in the Earth Kingdom city.
Does someone need to explain how 100 years of invasion works to Katara?
We're orphans. Refugees. At least that's what we were. What are we now, Smeller Bee?
Freedom fighters!
Here's a great idea. How about not making a ton of loud noise while you're hiding in the forest from people who want you dead?
What'd you find?
The firebenders weren't behind the explosion.
Because firebenders never wear brown coats. They only ever wear red and openly firebend in public. Everyone knows that.
When the Fire Nation came to our village.
I remember her getting up every morning before everyone else.
If you remember her waking up before everyone else, then clearly you were awake before she got up, meaning she never woke up before everyone else. Boom! Santa Claused.
What happened there?
We arrived at the same time, so how the f am I supposed to know, dumbass? Not Iroh, annoyingly.
So it wasn't the firebenders behind the explosion? It was...
You're not gonna believe this. I know who's behind the bombings.
You're right. I don't believe it. You interrupted us just as we were about to reveal who's behind the bombings by bursting in and explaining who you think is behind the bombings. Honestly, the timing is uncanny. Quite spooky, in fact.
Would you like to try one of
Not right now.
Katara is a dick to the cabbage merchant who must be protected at all costs. So Jet's crew bumps into Sai and swap his briefcase with their own. My question is, how did they have an exact replica of his briefcase? Were there replica backup briefcases made in case he picked a different one? And wouldn't Sai feel the weight difference when he picks up the new one?
It's too late!
It really isn't, though. She could storm the castle and say there is a bomb. She could go to a guard and say the king is about to be killed. She could even report where your base is to prove her legitimacy. She actually could do so much to stop your plan. I'm wondering why she hasn't been clubbed to death by Discount Little John.
Go. Get to the palace and stop Sai.
Ah, yes. Let the two people who can't fly make their way to the palace that's about to be blown up.
1, 2, 3!
Not only do they make this jump, but they also somehow land perfectly in this tiny carton of a box and manage to not tip it over.
My cabbage!
The Cabbage Merchant's voice actor plays the Cabbage Merchant in the live-action version. That's the greatest casting decision since the decision to not cast Vince Vaughn as Joey in Friends.
Oh no.
Thinking this will move people quicker than saying, Fire Nation assassin, run! Yes, he isn't working for the Fire Nation, but I bet it would have moved bums from seats. These green glowy stones are cool and all, but someone needs to talk to these disobedient helmets who are determined to only reflect a non-existent white light.
What do you think will happen to us?
Conveniently timed torture is convenient, except for the person being tortured.
I found him. Aang's in prison.
And you found this out how? Do Earth Kingdom soldiers make a habit of publicizing their inmate rosters in the town square? Episode was not prepared to take a you better come take a look at this cliche sin to save the life of this soldier. Either Zuko already had an Earth Nation uniform, meaning he killed this guy just for his helmet, or he managed to scoop out his ashy remains and get dressed faster than I'm comfortable with.
Cities are like people.
Show stumbles upon the reason I don't like cities.
You could show him this isn't the way. He'll listen to you.
Mistaking Book 1 Zuko for Book 3 Zuko. I know they still have the same scar, but their hairstyles and value placed on Iroh's advice are quite different.
You can get us into the palace.
Not after today. I'm sorry, I can't.
What about the tunnels?
Place to be heisted has convenient secret tunnels to facilitate heisting. Cliche.
An Earth Kingdom labor camp for prisoners of war. No one who's been sent there has ever been heard from again.
What if it's actually a really nice prison, but they just have an extremely unreliable postal service? Okay, we're officially getting far too much Emerald City in my Avatar The Last Airbender, and not nearly enough Cynthia Erivo in everything.
Lotus root, pine bark, dried jasmine, scalding hot water, steep for 2 minutes. Tea?
Offering tea to your prisoner after your tea maker's already left the room. He's only going to prepare enough tea for you. How will he know to prepare a second cup for Aang after he's already left the room? He won't. He'll have to make a second trip to start a new batch of tea. Except when his is ready, yours will be cold. Don't you see? You've doomed your entire civilization.
He is not just an airbender. He is the master of all 4 elements.
Mistaking Book 1 Aang for Book 3 Aang. I know they have the same tattoos, but their hairstyles and bending skills are quite a bit different. Also, oh my goodness. Is this where Ludo ended up?
How are you still alive?
Clean living, the right diet, and luck.
I'm sure it has nothing to do with the resources of a literal f***ing king.
How are you still alive? I'm still a child.
I'm going with plot armor and demographic appeal. When Boomy ordered his tea, he specifically said,
Scalding hot water, steep for 2 minutes.
Yet it's delivered in less than 1 minute. Someone's gonna get fired. Or earthed.
Life may be simple in the South Pole, but here you have to make hard decisions.
City boy mansplains city life to country girl who he assumes doesn't know better. Cliche.
You're fighting because of hate, just like the Firebenders.
I am nothing like the Firebenders.
Reducing the complexities of an imperialistic global geopolitical conflict down to simple emotions like love and hate. Walking past the aggravated person who's accosting you instead of moving away down a different path. I don't care the guitar was able to defend herself. Proper self-defense includes avoiding confrontation in the first place. Thank goodness the show made a big deal of Katara stealing that water skin earlier. Otherwise, she'd have had to rely on a sudden storm or convenient lottery win to get her out of this mess. Zuko checks 2 of presumably dozens, if not hundreds, of cells and immediately gives up. Either his desire to find Iroh isn't that strong, or he knows the other cells down this hallway are just set dressing.
You don't belong here.
Sir, I was assigned prisoner transfer duty, but I'm late.
This works.
The old firebender was taken to the pit. The other one's still here. Well, you're just gonna stand there? What are you gonna do?
I know this is supposed to be a big choice moment for Zuko, but he just told this guard he was supposed to do prisoner transport and didn't even know the Avatar was here. He would clearly have been here to transfer Iroh, so he needs to head to the pit to keep up his cover story. This guard sucks at his job and should be way more suspicious of Zuko.
This can't be right.
This was the only opening in the mountain.
Wait. You're telling me that there's a cave system that leads up to the palace and the Earthbenders not only haven't sealed it off, but there aren't even false entrances to this please come in and kill our king tunnel system? Are they wanting to be overthrown? Because that's how you get invasions.
So what are you doing here?
What are we doing here? What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? What am I doing here? I could be watching the anime.
Harmony, music, love.
Excitement?
Those are the tunnels.
You can tell because they've been visually Hitchcocked.
Many around these parts would be very interested to know that the famed Dragon of the West is in their midst. Someone might be tempted to take matters into their own hands.
I feel like he's telegraphing some ill intent. Could he be telegraphing some ill intent? Littering. Also, do they not search prisoners? And if they did and they didn't find the chip, where was he hiding it? And please don't answer that.
The direct path is not always the best path.
The direct-to-camera dialogue is so weird. We're not even in Aang's position. Bumi's just decided to talk to camera as if his mental instability has led to an awareness of the Matrix.
And maybe I just wanted a bite of rock candy.
Expecting me to believe Bumi would have any teeth left after a century of chewing on rocks.
Put out your light.
But the glowy rocks would glow just as much with the light than without. The reason the glowy rocks worked in the cartoon was because they were much smaller and much higher up, meaning a person couldn't see them with their lantern. Like not being able to see the stars because of all the much closer street lights. They could have done the same here, but decided to make less sense instead. Also, Aang was supposed to be there with Katara in the Cave of Two Lovers.
It said love is brightest in the dark, not glowy rocks.
Poetic license, like the minstrel said. Love is the answer.
The minstrel never said the words, love is the answer. However, his Magic Stone slideshow position did have Oma and Shu standing in the middle of their tunnels, and the blue glowy rocks were everywhere, not just on the paths that led to each other.
Katara, what is your problem?
My problem is you're not taking me seriously.
Demanding to be taken seriously by the person you aren't taking seriously.
Says the girl who fell for a terrorist.
That's not what happened.
The director told this character to hold an apple so we'd know he was an asshole long before he was a vengeful asshole.
Is it true he abandoned the siege?
Yes, after his son was killed.
So his son dies a hero and he'll be forever known as a coward.
Whispers positioning at a funeral because television and 24 news channels don't exist yet. Okay, fine. This adaptation has one or two good ideas, and Zuko sitting with Iroh at the funeral is one of them. Take one sentence back, you damned onion benders.
This shouldn't be here. We were here before, but this wall wasn't.
How is that possible?
It's not, unless the tunnels are changing.
The tunnels are changing in a mountain inhabited by earthbenders and earthbending badger moles? What? The badger mole is CG, which means this stupid show made the stupid choice to animate stupid hot breath moisture and spittle on their stupid camera lens. The bird things get spooked by the flaming tree and then proceed to run towards it. Show doesn't know how to spooked animal correctly. And then Iroh promptly and tragically died from a collapsed lung and exsanguination because Zuko didn't properly prepare medical treatment before ripping out the shrapnel. Smart thinking! You've blinded the blind badger mole. Now he can't see. Wait a minute. This deep dark cave under a mountain sure has a bunch of skylights.
It's blind. They don't navigate by sight, but by feeling. They sense feelings and react to them.
The f you say? He isn't eating them because it sensed that they care for each other? Because I guarantee that more than anything, he's sensing fear in soiled underpants.
Excuse me, Mr. Badgermole? We'd really appreciate if you could show us the way to the palace.
This works.
You think like a child.
Expecting a 12-year-old to think like anything but a child.
You're under attack?
That's generally how war works, Aang. People and places are under attack until they aren't.
Oh,
But I do have one more challenge for you.
There was nothing in the series up to this point to suggest they would do this. It's clearly just a callback to the cartoon for the sake of callbacks. And when you do callbacks just for the sake of callbacks without any real substance, you end up with Disney's Wish. Disney's what now, I hear you say? Exactly, I smugly reply.
My cabbages!
Now that's a callback. Run! The wasted breath it takes to say run when everyone is already running. Protagonists jump off a cliff only to be saved by a previously unseen Deus Ex flying thing-in-a cliche.
We've been running into the firebenders a lot more often.
Hiding from firebenders could be made easier by changing your hair, wearing Earth Kingdom clothing, and, I don't know, maybe covering the giant arrow that literally points to the Avatar's face? Unless Sokka and Katara get turned into pigs and Aang has to work at a spirit world bathhouse to change them back, I'm sitting for false advertising.
Seeds for the future.
The animators did an excellent job making Momo cute as hell, and I'd take a sin off for it. But he just gave Katara an acorn, and cute little rat thing plus acorn just makes me think of Scrat from the Ice Age movies. And anything that reminds me of that annoying precursor to the Minions is getting a sin. Also, the Minions.
Hey.
Kids.
The firebenders just wanted to clear a path as they moved through the mountains.
They did a really shitty job then, considering all the trees are still there, albeit charred.
The people are beyond this world. But I can get them back.
Aang can't even waterbend yet. I doubt he can perform a 7th level necromancy spell like resurrection.
How many places can there be for a giant sky bison to hide?
Well, there is the entire sky, which I've heard is rather large.
You always seem to know how to get the most out of their talents. If it were me, I'd send more resources to Zhao.
Praising someone's choices and then saying you do it differently.
Because all of this is my responsibility.
With great avatar comes great responsibility, cliche.
I need to find where the spiritual energies are strongest.
And where's that?
I'll know it when I find it.
For not knowing how to be the avatar, Aang sure knows how to be the avatar with suspicious regularity.
Don't mention the Avatar. We can't let word get out.
Then maybe this conversation should have happened before leaving the boat?
I heard some waterbenders might have been around these parts not long ago. Did you see them?
No.
Asking a bartender for information without buying a drink first. I don't expect Zuko to know any better, but Iroh most definitely would.
What are you looking at?
A low-life bounty hunter?
Instigating a fight with the woman you just saw deadlift a man off the ground while her giant beast with a poisonous tongue is standing right behind her.
No human belongs in this realm.
Show had the amazing acting talent of Randall Duck Kim and squandered it by giving him a voice-only role that lasted less than 2 minutes. Show doesn't know how to Randall Duck Kim correctly.
They do not hear what you hear.
Okay, I got bored and decided to translate the Morse code. It says, I can't believe you took the time to translate this, you moron. Grabbing a towel to wipe sweat off when there isn't a drop of precipitation anywhere on her.
She's a mercenary. Her loyalty is bought and sold.
Okay, but how about, and hear me out on this one, you buy her loyalty?
The owl said we'd be fine as long as we stuck to the path. Right, Aang?
Right.
Aang, what did the owl really say?
Waiting this long to ask clarifying questions about what the giant spirit bird said.
It's the spirit of the forest.
The cute little wooden bear is beyond false advertisement. Katara survives this, or the monster misses even though Katara didn't move. Or both. So when civilians are threatened and trees are burned down, you take responsibility to protect them. But when your own friend is thrown 15 feet by a giant monster, you run away? Scene does not contain a Muto getting throat nuked.
I need to get to my friends before they get eaten by that monster.
It's not a monster. It's hurt.
Those things are not mutually exclusive.
Do you always make jokes when you don't want to talk about something?
Unprovoked attacks on my personality.
I can't bend.
Katara's powers being quantumly entangled with my knees.
You will. I know it.
How is Katara's mom so confident? She's not a waterbender, neither is Katara's father or Sokka. I mean, did baby Katara start waterbending in the womb? Oh. Deciding to hide behind the oxygen in front of this tent instead of the tent itself.
Turn the bender over. Or die.
Or else I'll stand here for just long enough to allow Katara to summon her waterbending powers. This commercial break is brought to you by me changing my shorts thanks to another cheap jump scare.
This is the day you passed your ice dodging trials. just as the warriors in our family always have.
You did make it exciting, though.
I swear, Bato must be a secret subset of Bender who can bend whispers, because there's no way he was able to finish a sentence that started while he was on the other side of this door.
Why would I try to kill you?
Does he not have eyes? Oh look, another mirage. Guess I can switch my brain off. I'm sure Aang will snap out of it soon and go save his friends. Wait, what was that? This place is real? And his old mentor is inside and somehow lives in the spirit world? Well, now I have to watch it again. Choosing to have this many door nipples.
I know it's hard to believe, but it's really me. There are lots of illusions here, but you've emerged from the fog. This is real.
That's just what an illusion trying to kill me would say. Are confusingly not the next words out of Aang's mouth.
Most who perished moved on in the great cycle. I chose a different path.
Opting out of the afterlife to be reincarnated as the last exposition bender.
After Kyoshi told me that I need to get to the north to prevent a great tragedy from happening. Except, I don't know how.
Anything is better than the current tactic of taking my sweet-ass time so that the tragedy will come and go and not be my problem.
Ko is a primal spirit, a dangerous and ruthless predator. There is no way to defeat him.
Protagonist is told a thing is undoable, even though we'll learn somebody did in fact do the undoable thing before protagonist also ends up doing the undoable thing. Cliché.
You couldn't have done anything if you'd stayed with us. You couldn't have stopped the Fire Nation. It's not your fault.
I'm so tired of protagonists being given closure from a father figure instead of gaining it for themselves through a turbulent journey of self-discovery. I mean, that's what makes Zuko's story arc in the cartoon so compelling. And so help me if this version nerfs his redemption arc. I'll rewatch all of the anime again. I'll do it. Don't you test me. I'm sorry, what? Aang tells Gyatso he needs to talk to Avatar Roku, and apparently that means going to his temple. I thought he was going to travel there via spirit world, not leave his friends who are currently hostages of a man-eating monster. Also, assuming this temple still exists after 100 years. Showing what's in your hand to an unseen audience. Also, burying the acorn in the charred topsoil instead of actually in the dirt. The gesture of planting a seed loses its meaning if the seed never sprouts.
I'm gonna make this right, and I'm gonna save my friends. I promise.
Promising to do the impossible. And yeah, it's a kid's show, so he'll succeed, but maybe the show should actually have stakes. I mean, Ko's hungry, and do we really need Sokka in the later episodes? I'm sure this would look super impressive if I could see a dimly lit f***ing pixel of it.
Look.
Like a prince.
Platitudes.
Are you seriously gonna let this spineless slug tell us what to do?
Zuko sure is quick to assume his men would stay loyal to him and not his father. I'm beginning to wonder if Zuko's forgotten what it would be like to be scared to defy his warlord father's orders. If only there were a reminder of the consequences to help level his hubris.
I know Zuko has his rough edges, but you must understand, he's been through a lot.
Excusing Zuko's rough edges because he's been through a lot.
You see, I'm the Avatar.
We know.
Instead of taking advantage of Aang's trust and leading him into a trap, this bozo gives up the element of surprise and throws a fireball. This is exactly why rogues hate wizards. Finding a single thread or small piece of torn fabric would have been enough to establish that June was tracking Aang, but it's far less impressive when his clothes shed more than my dog. Also, Aang's clothes survived this.
The only one who can provide balance is Fire Lord Osai. He will unify the world, not the Avatar.
Uniting the world under rubble and ash is not the same as providing balance. If you've got a thing for fascists, just say that.
Who dares disturb the peace of the Avatar?
Talking in the third person.
Aren't avatars incarnations of each other?
We share the same spark, but we are our own people.
And yet, they will continue to teach that the Avatar is reincarnated to further ingrain the populace with the dogma that the Avatar is an all-powerful deity. The sin, as always, is politics.
What did you take?
The MacGuffin, probably.
Ko longs for the same thing we all do. Family.
As I've always expected, Ko was Vin Diesel all along. The totem conveniently sitting right there in Roku's hoarding stash is convenient.
What happened to them?
Who are you asking this question to? Surely they're not going to go through the trouble of rendering a cat mole beast and not use him in anything exciting. Oh, it licked him to sleep. Thrilling.
So you're the Avatar, huh? Not sure what all the fuss is about.
June would be excellent and I couldn't give a shit since.
So if you're smart, you just sit back and wait for the dust to clear and then pick through the broken pieces for the leftovers.
So the plan is dumpster diving?
Please, just let me do what I have to do, and I swear I'll come back.
It's odd Aang thinks this will work, but it's even more odd Zuko didn't gag a prisoner who can airbend by talking.
Why? Why don't you listen to me?
I'm going to take a wild guess and go with kids.
You couldn't have always been this way. What happened to you?
Aang perfectly keys up the next Zuko flashback like it's his destiny to unite all the backstories. This map has latitude, longitude, and what I assume are lines delineating counties? But there's no topography, no indication of mountains or rivers. Worthless map is worthless.
What division do you suggest?
The 41st. They're mostly new recruits, they're expendable.
Scene mentioning expendables does not contain a Sylvester Stallone, a Jason Statham, or a Dolph Lundgren.
Little boys should know better than to play at war.
The King's General is a dick to the King's son because reasons. Cliché.
Enough!
There is only one way to resolve this. Agni Kai.
Dude, the first rule of Agni Kai is you don't talk about Agni Kai. You're the Fire Lord. You should know this.
Let us through! Do you know who I am?
Karens.
The Yuyan archers. It's said they can shoot the wings off a glowfly from 1,000 paces.
That's pretty impressive, but nowhere as impressive as shooting fire out of your hands. So I don't get why you actually need them.
Please, you have to let me go.
Yeah, I just love my protagonists to have agency and motivation and to constantly beg to be set free as they're juggled from one captor to another. Once again, why is no one gagging the Airbender?
But not tonight. Tonight, we will celebrate!
Because the best way to make sure an all-powerful savior of the world stays locked up tight is for everyone to get drunk and party. The masked man is hanging under the cart, but when the guard looks under the cart, Episode expects me to believe he's managed to climb inside the cart without anyone noticing. And I do not believe you, Episode. Now the show's just taunting me. The guard is looking in the direction of a man in a massive blue mask and doesn't see Zuko yet again. This is some bullshit. Running at your foe with your arms back and face presented. Apparently our masked friend here is a fan of Naruto. The logistics of this over-the-top reveal are so mind-boggling that I'm just gonna say this works. Also, for having been defeated by swords, this guy is surprisingly devoid of cuts and stabs. Aang's first response to swords are to just close his eyes and hope it's over quickly, instead of literally blowing the guy away.
Who are you? Right. Run now. Talk later.
Talking about how you need to run while not running. How is Aang still alive? His self-preservation impulse is next to non-existent.
Make sure to include the full transcript of my speech, but change loyal to faithful. Sounds more personal.
It does not. Zhao would be walking on fallen guards right now, but apparently is so caught up in his speech that he doesn't even notice. Apparently, along with airbending, the Avatar has some top-notch circus skills. Why is this the first time any of the firebenders have thought to use their main power? Episode acts like the reveal that this has been Prince Zuko all along is surprising. Episode is wrong. Also, unmasking when you should be running.
Where do they go?
Not far, since a small 13-year-old boy is being forced to carry a 16-year-old boy. You guys should have already caught up.
You're hurt. Trying to help.
What were you going to do? Poke it?
Can I ask you something?
Me first. Why are you talking when you should be hiding?
I know I shouldn't have taken your notebook. And I'm sorry.
Apologizing to the guy who's been chasing you and trying to kidnap you for the past 6 episodes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you.
Telling someone's unconscious body you didn't mean to hurt them. Yes, bring me destruction in action with fiery destruction and abuse of power. But also, show took far too long to show me how badass Fire Lord Ozai is.
The soldiers are gone.
Does the Avatar have superhuman strength on top of everything else? Did he carry Zuko in a mini tornado or something? I am unreasonably angry that Aang keeps carrying Zuko without explanation as to how.
You know the worst part about being born 100 years ago? I miss my friends. If we knew each other back then, do you think we could have been friends?
Many might take Zuko throwing fire at Aang as him answering Aang's question with a no. I, however, believe this is just Zuko's version of a skip. Because why was Aang wasting valuable "we need to get away from the soldiers" time asking stupid questions like this?
He says your vision will be fine.
Fine, because maybe his father held back compassionately?
And since you're so concerned with the 41st Division, take them with you as your crew.
That's great and all that Zuko was able to save the lives of the 41st Division, but which division will be sacrificed now?
We're the 41st. And you're all alive because of my nephew's sacrifice.
With all due respect, Iroh, your nephew did not sacrifice anything. He was punished.
Attention! Our prince has returned. Up!
Episode makes me feel like I should like Zuko now, and I don't feel good about that.
It's amazing how far we'll go to hide our true selves from the world.
Fun! More narration. I love when this show pretends that it's Grey's Anatomy, just with less romance and slightly more people dying in fires.
Once I save my friends, I'll have more time.
He nods as if approving Aang's plan, but twist! He's not there when Aang returns. Did he choose not to tell Aang? Was it a condition of his supernatural state to keep emotionally damaging secrets? Show is really reaching for the emotional hits, and it's just making me mad.
I was just on Admiral Zhao's ship, going over the latest fuel usage figures.
And you didn't show us the exciting non-stop action of fuel usage figures talk? Damn you, Last Airbender.
Uncle, we can't let my father believe I've turned against him.
I know, but first you must get to safety.
Because fleeing in the middle of the night is a great way to prove your innocence.
Blasting jelly.
Not immediately jumping into the sea once you figured out you've been set up.
Zuko.
Not immediately ordering a search for the prince. Man, these people don't know how to react to things correctly. Can someone get this kid a beanie? It's cold out here. The fact that his ears don't freeze and fall off within minutes of being blasted by all this iceberg-chilled wind is by far the least believable part of the entire series.
This whole time, I've been worried that I don't know what I'm doing.
Thing the writers for this show said as Netflix handed them a giant check for seasons 2 and 3 somehow makes its way into the episode.
Avatar, welcome to Agnikella.
Making this announcement while facing away from the arriving party. Actually, is this him rehearsing his welcome speech and they just happen to arrive at the same time?
This is
beautiful. It's perfect.
Judging a city by its CGI cover.
We've been expecting you.
Mr. Bond?
This is Master Paku. He is our senior waterbending master. And this is my daughter, Princess Yue, our tribe's spiritual leader.
There's something I need to tell you. You're in danger.
Interrupting expositional roll call to tell them about their world-ending predicament. They had a budget of around $15 million per episode, and this is the best wig they could afford for Princess Yue?
Several days ago, our scouts picked up a Fire Nation fleet steaming this way.
Steaming this way? See, because it's the Fire Nation. Otherwise, they'd be sailing this way, but that's reserved for airbenders. Sounds silly when you say it out loud, or when you say it under your breath, or even when you think about it.
Our enemies can't be allowed to get away with such a brazen crime.
As every great actor knows, there's nothing that'll get you taken seriously like random yelling!
We know the Avatar is headed there, to the last great waterbender stronghold.
If it's the last great waterbender stronghold, then just say they're headed to the waterbender stronghold. Everyone will know what you mean, and you'll have one less sin for redundancy.
I admit that I have little experience in battle. Of course, that also means that I have no track record of failure.
And I have little experience playing professional basketball, so I feel confident playing one-on-one against Jordan. What the f*** is this logic?
That I'm the one.
I was expecting Azula to finish her statement, but nope, that's apparently it. And you might be thinking, one what? And my best guess, truly, is the one that can have the most pointless B-plot.
Why don't you just go and talk to her?
Because she's a literal princess and this Sokka has nothing to offer her but poorly written dialogue.
She's just a girl.
And he's just a boy. Can I make it any more obvious?
She probably sleeps on a throne and only eats dewdrops and sunshine.
A throne sounds extremely uncomfortable to sleep on, and I doubt dewdrops and sunshine have any nutritional value. Sokka is terrible at guessing what a princess's life is like.
Stewed sea prunes. My favorite.
Is it good?
Asking someone who just said something was their favorite if it's good.
So, enjoying the food, are we?
Giving Master Paku as much character development as you would an Applebee's waiter. But I can't wait for him to come back and ask the Avatar if he has room for dessert. I'm so glad this episode has doubled the runtime of its cartoon counterpart so we have more time to watch Sokka leer at women he likes.
You can help me finish this.
Assuming he wants dessert already, and assuming he isn't allergic to anything in the dish.
What do you think?
It's delicious.
And you can really tell how much he liked it by him setting it down on the table and not taking another bite.
You are just a girl.
Did you think I wasn't a girl?
No. I just figured with you being a princess and all.
Skip.
How do I know you?
I was in The Ice Road with Liam Neeson. Did you see it? That's okay, no one did. I was also in Prey. Yeah, should have led with Prey. Reminding me this creepy CGI fox exists. If the Northern Water Tribe knows that the Fire Nation is coming and has for a few days, why aren't they building these spike defenses everywhere? It only took them like 5 seconds to make, and it certainly can't hurt. Aang just asked these dudes to help train him, and instead of being minutely helpful, they just scold him for not focusing on his training earlier and leave him. I can already tell this is going to be an episode all about growth.
It would have been wise to have focused on your training during your journey.
Would have also been wise to not put the fate of your entire city's defenses in the hands of a 12-year-old who's been asleep for the last 100 years. But here we are.
I'm sorry, but women don't fight.
Clearly this is a rule made by a bunch of men who did not grow up with sisters.
In the Northern Water Tribe, women aren't allowed to fight.
Aren't allowed? That's not right.
But that is our way.
The show flattens a deep, complex issue into one crystal clear message. If she wants to be in combat, she should be in combat. Maybe so, but Qatar's an outsider who blew into town earlier that day and who's graciously received by a tribe whose culture and traditions are as important to them as Qatar are to her. I'm not saying she shouldn't be allowed to fight. I'm just saying that challenging the way they do things outright and on the first day doesn't say much about Qatar's emotional or cultural intelligence, or the emotional or cultural intelligence of the show.
None of them have seen real battle.
Hey, I'm sure they'll do great.
Because I'm sure you'll do great is exactly what you want to hear before you go fight in a deadly battle.
Listen to me, Aang. The Avatar must walk alone.
Misquoting Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
You're the fox!
Oh, sure. Sokka can call a princess a fox and he doesn't get into trouble, but when I do it at work, suddenly I need a visit to HR to reassess my choice of language. And guess how explaining that I'm in an actual fox goes over?
Having to relive one of the most painful memories of my life.
Painful?
I overheard my dad saying he was disappointed in me.
Sokka's mother was killed, his tribe raided by the Fire Nation, and his dad is off fighting in the war somewhere with no word on if he is safe or not. Not to be too judgy, but I feel like there are bigger things at play here than Daddy was disappointed in me.
He is everything that a girl could want, but he is not the boy of my dreams.
Did I miss a scene or something? These two have had one real conversation and now they're suddenly in love? Are we sure Disney doesn't own this IP? Making out with an avatar in the room, sitting on the floor right there, not 6 feet away from you. Most definitely a faux pas, out-of-body experience notwithstanding.
Being the Avatar means being the one who bears the burden.
Get it? Because he's literally wearing a bear and he's talking about bearing the burden. Do you get it?
You're not strong enough. Women aren't strong enough.
Master Pakku survives this.
And I'm not going to let what happened to the Southern Tribe happen here.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Pakku and Qatar are arguing over the fact that women aren't allowed to fight when Pakku says that. This sounds like Pakku is blaming what happened to the Southern Water Tribe on women fighting, which is the craziest take one could have. Over candling your wooden tables.
Aang, you're not gonna lose us.
Exactly, Aang. Have you seen the plot armor you and your friends have? Even Ellie from The Last of Us didn't have plot armor that thick.
I quite like Zhao the Conqueror. Should have some flair.
Well, then how about Zhao the Wow? Or maybe Zhao with the Pow?
What makes you think you can succeed when so many others have failed?
Have many others tried to conquer the Northern Water Tribe, or has the Northern Water Tribe not seen any actual combat? Because I'm getting told two things in this episode and they can't both be true.
He's attacking the fortress head-on, like a bull in heat. There may be more, but he's keeping it to himself.
This information requires the removal of my mask. Let no one ever say I don't enjoy a good dramatic reveal. Also, bulls don't go into heat, Uncle Iroh. Cows do. It's called estrus.
I fear I've underestimated Zhao.
Yeah, I figured that out as I was swimming away from the burning wreck of my boat.
Wait, so how did Zuko make it back onto the ship undetected? On top of that, how did Uncle Iroh even find Zuko? Did Zuko just swim around the boat somehow inconspicuously until his uncle found him?
The plan is to prove my father wasn't wrong to trust me with this mission. The plan is to go in and capture the Avatar once and for all. The plan is to reclaim what's rightfully mine.
So no plan.
Uncle Iroh is the f***ing best. Way to throw a monkey wrench into the water, air, earth, fire thing around which the entire show revolves. Now we're all over the place. I half expect someone to bend whipped cream later in the show. Although, I think I saw someone do that earlier.
I'm through playing games here.
Ironic you'd say that, given that the writers have done nothing but play games with Azula's placement in the story. It's almost like she wasn't meant to be here yet.
Go back to the healing huts with the other women.
That's Healing Hut Womanist. Bringing airbending to a waterbending fight. Oh no, how did he ever figure out my weakness? Cold wind! How come the water in here doesn't freeze over? You could tell me it's water they keep warm, but there's no steam to prove that. You see, what made this moment so funny in the original show is we could see Paku's silly, bewildered expression in the ice. You can't do that in live action. It doesn't look the same, and the effect of Paku's face is lost. This is ultimately why the adaptation and most live action adaptations are a bad idea from the start. You can't capture what people love about cartoons and put it into real life, because cartoons aren't meant to be real life. They're meant to be cartoons.
I'll just say I lost.
Did you?
She did.
The person who'll write The Legend of Aang.
God have mercy on whichever soul is hired to write that. I hope it's not anybody who worked on this show.
Soot.
Was there no lookout to warn the town about the impending fleet? Maybe Paku needs to look to his own city's defenses before he puts any more energy into resisting a few extra warriors on the team. Titties or not. Soldier takes a full blast of air from the Avatar and he just kind of fell backwards. Was this like a warm-up shot for Aang? Did Aang feel sorry for this particular guard? Because he has zero issue just sending the next soldier into the ocean.
Come on, let's go.
Expecting me to believe that well-trained soldiers would abandon the bridge of their ship at any time during a battle. These guys left because the script needed Sokka to participate in this fight somehow, and it shows.
One ship down.
How many more to go? You gotta be kidding me.
In the last episode, the Waterbenders said they had spies tracking the movement of Fire Nation ships.
Several days ago, our scouts picked up a Fire Nation fleet steaming this way.
So wouldn't they know how big this fleet was and relay that to Aang? Kind of seems like that was forgotten so we could set up this funny-ish line for Aang.
One way or another, this is where my journey ends.
I wish, Zuko, but unfortunately Netflix renewed this series for another 2 seasons. So buckle up and prepare for more butchering of your cartoon counterpart.
Uncle, Lu Ten would have been proud to have you as his father.
Family tree expositioning. Men are manly and can only have a single teardrop. Cliché.
They'll probably be in range in an hour, 2 tops.
We need to call our patrols home.
I agree. Although, given how useless they were at spotting this massive fleet coming to attack you, I'm not sure how much help they'll be.
Forget your pride! This is about the survival of the Waterbenders, and you need all the help you can get. You know we can make a difference.
This tribe's women conveniently assembling under a bluff from which they can all be seen at the opportune moment. Right after Katara delivers the punchline to her walk and talk argument with the Master is convenient. Also, Katara's plan is to take all the healers out of this fight and put them in combat roles? Isn't healing kind of important in a battle? No?
What good is it relying on the past when it stops us from having a future?
I hate that in addition to having to wait for permission to use their powers, these powerful women don't just go and do what they want in these desperate times. Seems like this would be a situation where you just go kick ass and apologize later.
If you spot any incoming fireballs, don't try to take them on yourself. Let me know.
Instead of blocking the fireball or running for your life, come and get me so we can die together.
Nothing. Just a bunch of mumbo-jumbo about lion turtles and cosmic balance and push and pull.
My response to what do you like about the show somehow makes it into the episode.
You're not thinking of tampering with the spirit world, are you? Are you?
Asking a question when you already know the answer.
Killing the ocean spirit would deprive waterbenders around the world of their lives.
Seems a bit unfair that the waterbenders have this unique Achilles heel situation. The firebenders have a special comet, but it doesn't turn into a fish for easy kills. It's almost like the show wrote in some dramatic swings to f with our emotions rather than find ways to balance out the powers.
I'm not a monster.
Setting the bar all the way up to whether or not you would commit genocide to determine whether or not you're a monster. 5-pound lemur-like creature somehow has enough force and or mass to bump a 100-pound teenager out of the way of danger, and does so without injuring said teenager.
Come with me, I can help him. We don't have much time.
Hey, I love flying lemurs as much as the next guy, but I think you should be getting the civilians to safety as opposed to saving one monkey. Also, we know the show isn't killing Momo, the obligatory, adorable, fantastic furball created primarily to sell smaller, less Appa-esque plushies. So get the f out of here with your false tension is false nonsense.
This is where the priest brought me when I was sick, to the source of all spiritual energy in our land.
Right, but wasn't that a highly specific to Yue's situation? The moon spirit was involved in her salvation because it gifted part of itself to heal her. So does Momo now have some of the moon spirit too? Oof, that's about to make Yue's sacrifice real awkward. See, this is why you shouldn't add scenes into the live action without triple checking your lore.
There's nowhere left to run.
Good thing Aang can fly, or swim, or teleport into another dimension. Hell, the cabbage guy could probably show up and cart him away. The Avatar has options, and Zuko's line should reflect that.
We can't let that happen.
Instead of fighting them now and preventing Zhao from finding the spirits, they're gonna hide in the bushes until the last possible moment.
Whatever you do to that spirit, I'll unleash on you tenfold!
Yeah, Iroh, stand up to the asshole. I mean, I don't know why you didn't do it in the balloon ride, or the isolated walk around the sacred glen, or back on the boat, or really any time before now, but yeah, get him, Iroh! All-powerful moon spirit that gives every waterbender their abilities is defeated by a strong hand and a burlap sack.
I am a legend now! They will tell stories about me for generations. Zhao the Moonslayer.
Premature Moonslayer-bration.
Master of 3 elements. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it?
I mean, that's still 3 elements to Zhao's 1, so it still feels like it means something. And here we see Iroh reaching in vain toward Zhao instead of just setting him on fire. Why isn't he shooting another fireball? Does he have to reload his forearms? Zuko and Katara survive this remake. No one ever seems to understand that just because slow-motion kung fu action-y shit look cool in The Matrix doesn't mean it looks cool everywhere. Thinking that now is a good time to go swimming.
I couldn't save my world, but I could save this one.
Equating turning into a rampaging water monster with saving the world. And how exactly did Aang know he would turn into the monster? How did Aang know any of this would work? How is Aang? Why is that guard just standing behind Iroh like he didn't just try to kill their boss? Does he think we can't see him? Is he trying to blend into the bushes like Homer? Seriously, there are 4 of them just standing there after Iroh tried to kill Zhao. Their admiral, their commanding officer. They didn't even have the courtesy of covering his retreat. Godzilla should sue.
What just happened?
Aang has given himself over to the ocean spirit, allowing it to channel its rage through him and access the power of the Avatar.
Oh. Iroh left the death pond and managed to find the exact room Zuko was in this massive palace after it was hit by a fireball. And now look, Zhao. He really has a way of running into the important plot people just the right time, doesn't he?
He took everything from me.
You know what? I think I've endured enough of Zuko's theater kid energy for one season. Let's just award a whopping 33 sins for it all in total and just be done with it. Face I make roughly 20 minutes after eating Taco Bell somehow makes its way into this episode. Turning your back on your opponent who can throw fireballs. Fire! Having to verbally remind yourself which element you bend.
Is it dead?
Pro tip on fighting giant monsters, you don't ask if they're dead. You load up your catapults and fire again. Using the awesome powers of the Avatar and the ocean to mostly just punch and kick a few ships. Why not just drown them all and be done with it? This is the ocean spirit, right? Giant whirlpool, done!
Aang! Aang!
This episode is 37% Katara shouting Aang.
It's over!
It should be, but we somehow still have 20 minutes of runtime left in. I'm not a fan of false promises.
There must be something we can do, some way to bring the moon back to life.
Run, Momo! Run! When Zhao killed the moon, I thought waterbending was over for everyone. But then all of a sudden, Yue can waterbend? Please, show. Give me some consistency. Either they can waterbend or they can't.
This isn't a sad thing.
Telling anyone how they should feel.
Do you know why the ocean and moon spirits take physical form for a night? It's because they want to know what it is to be mortal.
That's stupid. They could have just asked me. Your back hurts. Your knees hurt. Everything hurts and then you die. Wouldn't recommend it.
Aang, don't be an idiot.
What? In what world is that an encouraging line to bring someone back to you?
I know you think you don't belong in this world. You were never meant to die 100 years ago. If you had, you wouldn't be here now. And the world needs you.
None of that makes sense. If Aang had died a century ago, a new Avatar would have been born and risen up to stop the Fire Nation much sooner. Then the world wouldn't be in such a state now. The world only needs Aang because there hasn't been an Avatar around to keep the balance for 100 years. Woman are manly and can only have a single teardrop. Cliche.
So much destruction.
Yeah, sure, but you could stop walking and narrating and lend a hand. All the people you're walking past need help, Aang. Pitch in.
My daughter always made her own choices, and that was not something you or anyone could have stopped.
To be fair, Sokka was stopped by a thin sheet of ice.
I stood on the sidelines while others fought and died, being the warrior I could never be.
Don't forget the part where you hid in the bushes, Sokka. It's important to be specific. Men are manly and could only have a single teardrop. Enough with the manly men cliche.
After all, the Avatar still has to learn waterbending.
In that case, he couldn't have asked for a better master.
Except for you, who has actually done all the years of training to become a master. I think that's what you meant to say.
What do you think, Prince Zuko? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I'm tired.
Excitement? Also, being tired in the middle of an Arctic Ocean instead of paddling like your life depends on it. Because it does. Men are manly and can only have a single teardrop cliche. Look, someone needs to check on these characters' tear ducts for sake.
I caused this.
How does Aang know that Katara and Sokka are approaching him? Can he bend light and see behind him without looking? Or is he willing to say this to anyone?
How do I do this without causing so much pain?
I enjoy that Aang is blaming himself for all the lives lost in the city and not for all the Fire Nation soldiers he actually did murder.
So, anyone else hungry?
Sokka has apparently worked up an appetite with all that not helping he's been doing.
For the first time in a century, Omashu is ours.
But we decided to keep all that excitement off screen, for reasons. Unrolling your banner over an open flame.
So, what's next?
Ba Sing Se. Your father just said it. Were you not paying attention?
We shall see the return
of Sozin's comet.
This is the equivalent of the Acolyte putting Yoda and Darth Plagueis in the finale to keep it from getting canceled. The only difference is it actually worked this time.
What you said was bigger than my screenwriting choices. It was about my choices as a human being.
He said, I need to remember who I am.
Remember. Come with me if you want to live.
You are the Avatar.
Yeah, no Sherlock.
And I will find him.
I will find him! Exit stage left.
This scroll has been passed down among the waterbenders of our tribe for generations. It contains everything you need to know to begin your bending education.
Things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday!
Look at this. I'm so ticked off that I'm molting.
Calm yourself, Prince Zuko.
I could lose everything.
Calm yourself, Iago.
You must use your tact, your empathy. But most importantly, you need to have...
Squirrel!
What harm is there in letting him look through some books?
Librum incendere and expect.
I'm not just a warrior. I'm a Kyoshi warrior.
Do not try and bend the spoon. Tap into your feelings and gather energy from them.
Let the hate flow through you.
Are we going to the puppy parade or not? Because this is starting to feel like a bottle episode.
Who are you?
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not left-handed either.
Omashu isn't what he used to be.
Old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
That's why you've been hunting me for 3 years?
How do you know it's been 3 years? Unless...
My dream journal!
He is not just an airbender.
He's a very naughty boy!
Breathe well. Stay cool, bird boy.
The tunnels are changing.
Jinx!
Do it. I won't preside over the demise of Ferengi civilization. Not me! The line has to be drawn here. This far and no further!
My name's Sokka. Rhymes with... What I can't deal with is getting eaten by some giant spirit monster.
He's right behind me, isn't he? It's Sokka. It's my son. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Keep them safe for me, okay?
I'm an animal.
Loyalty. General, with all due respect, your nephew doesn't know the meaning of the word. If he did, he would have shown us, the people who've been with him night and day for 3 years, a lot more respect.
He's out of line, but he's right.
We're not getting rid of the cat, and there's nothing you guys can do about it, because the cat outranks you.
I'm not outranked by a cat.
Yeah, you are. This guy's a special agent. You a special agent?
Step aside.
I can't do that.
Then you shall burn, along with the rest of the non-believers.
Shun the non-believer! Shun!
Who dares disturb the peace of the Avatar?
I'm Batman.
For thousands of years I lay dormant. Who has disturbed my...
Hey, best buddy!
Oh, it's you.
But like Yoshi, I am here to aid you in your journey.
anything you need.
Wait a minute, did you say anything?
You're hurt.
I didn't ask how close they were. I said I cast fireball.
Tommy! How's the peeping?
Where did you get that?
What truth? There is no spoon.
I'll burn everyone in the world until he admits the truth.
You can't handle the truth!
A little splash of olive oil. Water's boiling, splash the oil in. I actually like this with a little bit of heat in there, okay? So I've got some chili flakes. I'm gonna finish it with some fresh basil.
You are just a girl.
Not a girl.
What the hell just happened?
Catch me outside, how about that?
So you would have gone through with it?
Wow, way to rub it in.
Shall not pass!
This is the internet. The whole internet.
Yep. I asked for a loan of it so that you could use it in your speech.
I'll show you lightning.
She means you. You got that, right?
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
I'd say it's 50-50.
50-50, what, like 50% we live, 50% we die?
Yes, Master Katara.
What? I'm not a...
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
The moonlight shows us for what we really are.
Which is why I know that that isn't just any moon.
That's no moon! It's a space station!
Killing the ocean spirit would deprive waterbenders around the world of their lives.
And not just the men, but the women and the children, too.
Stay cool, bird boy.
Bye! 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 Bye!
Are you one of those single-tier people? Do I look like a double fucking rainbow to you? You must be upset. Are you upset? No. No, so you just don't give a shit about any of this?